This video is why making friends as an adult is harder than it seems. I really wanted to talk about this topic because I feel like it's something that people go into adulthood not thinking about, or when people move, when people go to college, when people get out of college. It's just not something that's talked about very much. So I wanted to talk about it today. And I'm sorry I haven't made a video in a while. It has been a crazy last week and a half, 2 weeks. But I'm here and I want to talk about this. Why making friends as an adult is harder than it seems. I think we're all just so used to being crammed inside the same like four-ish buildings in elementary, middle, and high school, and even college too. You just automatically go into the experience knowing you're gonna come out with friends. I know that some people don't actually, because there's so many movies where like kids go into a new school and they're just so sad because they have no friends. And in my head, watching that as a kid, I would always be like, but you're going to make friends. You know you're going to make friends. You're going to be partnered with people. You're going to be in close quarters with people. You're going to laugh with people. You're just gonna like, you're doing projects. You're doing these things with kids. You're playing on the same teams. You're doing art things. Like, you're gonna make friends with people. That's what I always thought. So when people make it like their whole time in high school without making any friends, I'm like, you must have not have spoken like at all. You know what I mean? Because there's like a million and one ways. Like, you join clubs, you volunteer, you sign up for like school things, like what is it, like student body and all those types of things. Like, if you get involved in your school even just a little bit, you don't even have to be involved, just doing school things, you know, like being on the same dodgeball team, or being in the locker room, or just like doing the same science project or art project, like sitting next to someone. There's sometimes it usually happens, you know. And I think I was used to that so much that I went into my high school senior year thinking I was going to make, like, this was the year I was going to make like my bestest friend. Like, I definitely had friends in high school, but we were all in different classes, so I was just excited. I was like, I'm gonna make like my best friend this year. It's going to be amazing, you know. I really remember going in there and thinking this before school started, that I couldn't wait to meet my new best friend. Like, me and God were talking about it. And I remember, just especially in that poetry class that I took senior year that I did not like, I was just surrounded by people, and I was acquaintances with like the people nearest me. I remember there was this guy, there was this girl, and maybe because I put too much pressure on myself, it didn't happen. Like, friendship did not blossom necessarily, but we were acquaintances, and I could laugh and I could talk to them if I needed to. But I remember making an effort. I remember like asking a question here and there. It just fell flat a lot of the time, and that's okay. I learned that year, senior year of high school, and it's a good time to learn it too, that you're not always going to come out with a bestie or a friend, but it's nice to just have someone you know and to talk to every single day. And all I know is that I did the best that I could, and I made the effort where I could, and that was all I could possibly do. So when it comes to adulthood, it's a little bit different, because you're not forced to go to the same building, or you're forced to be on the same like team or on the same project, or to even sit next to someone. The best you can do a lot of the times, some of the best friendships that I've made or have seen have been working relationships or working friendships. Like, you're both coworkers, you know, you've worked on the same thing, whatever. However, what has been really unique to my situation is, one, I didn't go to college. I did college online. I did it blended, but I did it mostly online. And there was just like not really much of a way to strike a friendship in like those discussion boards. Like, it wasn't happening. I wasn't trying to make it happen. Another thing was work. And although I did have many jobs where I worked with many people my age, and it was really great, I made probably in 2023, I made the closest friends like ever. I made friends that became family. Why? Because I was working in a school where my coworkers, we all lived in the same building. It was impossible not to like become super close. And we did. It was fantastic. I loved it. It was like a movie. I loved it so much. And to have another experience like that, I just get so excited about meeting people. I'm going to give you guys some tips. Don't worry. I'm not just blabbing. But I want to talk about the fact that when I worked as a substitute, and where I work now as an early literacy interventionist, as a paraprofessional, I didn't make friends in the workspace, which was my common place to make friends. Like, that's the normalest place to make friends as an adult, in my opinion. I didn't do that because, one, as a paraprofessional, I'm kind of designated one kid, and I'm working with them one-on-one, and I'm not really focused on anything else. I don't really have coworkers. I mean, I did have coworkers. Not really. I had other people working in the school who did the same job as me, but we didn't work together. Does that make sense? I would sometimes see them in the teacher's lounge, and I loved talking to them there, but it was very different. It was just a whole different experience, and I was definitely one of the youngest ones, and that's okay too, because I did enjoy getting connections and meeting people, but it was a bit different than like friendship. But I do appreciate the connections I made there and meeting those people. It was so great. And as an early literacy interventionist, I literally go into classrooms and work with these kids one-on-one. There's no one else in the entire school who does the same job as me. Like, I don't really have coworkers. Like, I work specifically under my boss, my supervisor, who like talks to me occasionally. There's one teacher who's like closer in age to me, who is really sweet and so nice to me, and I would love to be friends with her. She's so cool, and she's very chill. But that's the only, like, it's very difficult. I'm in her class for like 45 minutes, and I'm talking to the kids 99% of the time. Like, I've had like such short conversations with her, and it's all having to do with the classroom. But I love saying hi to her, and I love, like, it's been so difficult because that school, there's just so many other people there, and I'm sure that, like, because I work in one school, I get to see the same faces, but it's so hard because, one, I'm doing my job, and two, like, everyone's doing their job. It's just not like chill, relax, and talk time, you know? Like, other jobs, there's moments for that, there's time for that, but not with me, not with what I'm doing. But yeah, that's been my dilemma, especially as a substituting was the worst because I didn't even talk to people. I just would go in, get my assignments from the office, and then I'd go straight to class. I didn't even talk to anyone. I would just go straight to the classroom, and I would talk to the kids. And I'm not making friends with the kids. Like, let's be honest here. But that's my unique specific situation. If you are in some sort of remote job or in some sort of job where you are just not seeing people your age much or interacting with people your age, it is very difficult to create friendship. It's very difficult to find it. And there's definitely, like, I want to give tips, and I want to like talk about it because there is ways to get around this. I want to prevail here, and I want to give us, like, you know, but I don't think anybody talks about why it's so hard, and it's just proximity. It's proximity and consistency. Like, when you see the same face over and over again, you get curious. You feel more comfortable with their presence. You know what I mean? I remember, like, the first month of school, a teacher or administrator, someone came up to me and they said, "I see you every single day. Who are you?" And it was very aggressive. I'm not gonna lie. It was very aggressive. It was not like friendship, like, oh, let's talk, let's meet. It wasn't that. It was very much like, you're a threat. Like, and so I just explained what I was doing. They're like, oh, okay. And they left me alone, and I don't really talk to them ever. Occasionally here and there, but still. There's no need for me to seek friendship there because it was just so clearly not that. Anyway, but it is very, very hard, especially me. I've been living in this city for a year, and I would really say I don't have any friends here. Acquaintances, sure. I do know people that live here, especially from working at the schools and stuff. And I appreciate that, but I don't have like a friend to hang out with here. Like, I really don't. And that's okay. I've never, ever liked the phrase, I don't have any friends. Because, one, it's not true. I do have friends, and I never say that about myself because it's not true, and it's such a diss to like all the friends I do have. So I appreciate the friends that I made when I was living in that school in Miami. I appreciate the friends that I made traveling. I love those, and I appreciate the friends I grew up with, you know? And I connect with them all the time, and I do believe that there's friendship to be made within family. If you haven't explored that yet, if you have cousins, you know, that you don't know very well, trust me, there is lore there and there's friendship to be made there. If you haven't thought of that so far, I guess I'm going into like the suggestions, you know, the tips. But yeah, if you have family around, you haven't explored friendship with them, trust me, there is gold there if you want, because, you know, but that would be you stepping out of your comfort zone if you don't talk to them or whatever the case is. I don't know what the case is. Or maybe it's a cousin you met when you were 5 and now you don't talk to them anymore. I've gone back and I've found those people or talked to those people, and so grateful that I did. But yeah, there's definitely that. So I have that, and the friendships that I've made through my online communities on TikTok, I really appreciate those as well. Although not as strong, I do appreciate them existing, because that means I have friends in different places. Another thing that I can suggest, just as an adult with adult money and choices that you have to be made, and if friendship is a priority for you, do group travel. I can't tell you how, like, it's this group travel to me, like traveling and like meeting up with a group and doing a whole excursion or a group trip, with strangers essentially. I can't tell you how scary slash fulfilling and amazing that is, but also it kind of feels like I was working in Miami in that school for 8 months, so less than a year, and I made some of the like strongest like friendships slash family connections. I consider them like family to me now at this point. I love them so much. It felt like that in 2 weeks time. So instead of having to do a whole 8 months thing, and we were already close way before the 8 months, but I'm just saying, like, instead of having to like commit to that, doing a solo travel group trip is amazing. So like going by yourself, and that's what I did, going by myself to Japan, signing up for, there's so many, there's so many companies, but if you look up EF Ultimate Trip or EF Study, EF like Go Abroad, like all these different types of programs, EF's the one that I did, where you basically sign up for yourself and pay for yourself, and they are expensive. So do not let me like, I didn't know it's expensive, let me tell you. But I think it's worth it in my personal opinion. On top of that, they give you payment plans, and there are less expensive ones and more expensive ones depending on where you're traveling. But if you enjoy travel and you want to make friendships as an adult, this is like, I can't even tell you a surefire way. The only way that you would possibly not make friends on a trip like this is if you don't speak. If you literally shield and like, give everyone the cold shoulder, that is the only way to not make friends, because you are in such close proximity and you spend all day with these people doing multiple new things. Like, you're in a new country, so your eyes are like this, and you are relying on each other to kind of navigate and figure things out and try new foods. You are always questioning things and always asking and always talking, that you find yourself suddenly with a huge friend group. Like, it's amazing. Oh, it's like such a perfect recipe for friendship. And I encourage you guys to do that if you are able to. They have payment plans, they have lower cost ones. If you're able to do like anything abroad with new people, do it. So as a solo girl, I chose Japan to like meet a group. Like, it's a structured thing. They have buses waiting for you. They have hotels already set up for you. They have a director who's your guide and speaks the language. And then they have all these excursions and activities you're doing to just get to know the country. It's amazing. And this is not an ad, by the way. I am just such a huge fan of this trip because of the friendships that it brought me. I still am in communication with, like, I think it was a group of like over 30 of us. I'm still in communication with so many of them. And like, those memories I share with them, and they are the only ones who possibly understand that trip and how beautiful it was. So if you want to make and I made these friends who live all across the US. So if you want to make friendships that are like, that kind of forces you to speed run a whole entire friendship, like, you can do that on these types of trips. Like, you have to rely on each other and you have to get to know each other, and it's amazing. So obviously you're not going to get along with every single person, but I'll do it all over again. And I want to go back and do more. That's how special these things are. And I think it's a really great way. So if you take that concept of, a whole trip, because it does take like at least half a day or a day to break the ice really, and to start, feeling like a group, and finding your people. It does take time to do that. But yeah, it is scary, but it is worth it in my opinion. So if you take that strategy and you move it over to like signing up for a class in your city, or I would say classes are the best way to do it, because one, it would be a new experience. It would be you going solo. Try to do things solo, because that is the best way to be approached and to talk to new people. You can do it with a friend, but I wouldn't do it more than a friend, because you'd have to also find another person who has like multiple people. Anyway, whether it be a class or some sort of activity where you're going to have to interact with other people. There are friend meetup things where everyone wants to do the same thing at once. Those apps exist where you can sign up and kind of pre-talk to people and go all, it can be all girls, all boys, whatever the heck, and go all meet somewhere and do one thing together, and you're kind of already familiar with each other. It's kind of cool. But yeah, that's and it's and things are hit or miss, you know. It does happen. I haven't done that personally. Not here, but when I was living in Miami, it was a fun thing to do. But I don't know, I think when being here where I'm living now, I live about 45 minutes from like the majority of my family, and I really just spent all of last year, instead of making friends in the city, I spent it reconnecting and forming really strong bonds with my family that I feel like, you know, I could finally make as an adult. I think it was so important for me to leave for as long as I did, because I moved to Miami and then I moved back, not back, but close-ish to home. And it gave my parents, my aunts, my uncles opportunities to like, you know, not see me. I was always there. I was always there to help, to do things, to kind of be a presence and to work things out and to like be the one to do XYZ, help with homework or with anyone's kids or just birthdays and church things, just always. And I feel like it was so good for me to go and come back and have like a newfound appreciation for my family. And I think that was good for them too, to just be like, she's not here all the time, you know, especially with me being like such a person who just loves to travel. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. But I want to just, yeah, I just want to express that to you guys. Making friends as an adult is harder, and it's just different, you know. It's harder, but it's different, and that might be better, you know, because you know who you are as an adult that you didn't know when you were younger, and you know what you like and don't like in people, and that's good. And I feel like when you're younger, you feel obligated to hold on to certain people, and you don't. And as an adult, everything's new and fresh, and it seems scary, but it's also really good for your brain to just put yourself in new challenges and new scenarios and new people. But yeah, it helps to know what you're looking for. Making friends as an adult is hard, but it's doable. It's just different. But yeah, say yeah. If you want to like go through the time period of saying yes to everything, invites, activities, gatherings, saying yes is great, but it doesn't guarantee you friendship. Like, just because you're there doesn't mean you're gonna click with people. You don't have to force things either. As long as you're open, you did your part, you know what I mean? As long as you are who you are, you did your part. And I truly believe, at least for me, my perspective is always, God has always brought me the best people and kind of given me in a magnetized sense. I feel like I attract really good people and really good friendships that have either taught me things or have been really important to me, and I feel like it's been mutual, and I just love that, and I appreciate all of my friendships. I'm not very good at like FaceTiming because I get scared that I'm gonna like, I always get scared with my friendships. I'm always like, I hope I don't like say something or mess things up, but I really want to talk to my friends more, and I should do that. Because they're always there for me and I love them. And yeah, but if you have been feeling this, like you're an adult and making friends has been hard, you are not alone, especially me. I'm like Miss Bubbly, like you'd imagine, but you know, not everyone's into that, and not everybody is like appreciative of that, but that's okay. I don't want anyone who wouldn't, you know, be appreciative of that anyway. But different energies are good too. Yeah, that's all I have to say. But anyway, I have this whole like YouTube video journal where I'm gonna be making tons of videos. Hopefully I make a video every single day. It won't be this week though, because I do have family staying with me. Right now they're out, and that's why I'm making this video. But for now, it's just gonna be this video. And maybe tomorrow I'll make one in my car. I don't know, but I just know I'm gonna be busy with family the next couple of days. But once everything's clear, a video a day, baby. A video a day. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Je t'aime, bye.